And earlier this morning, we spoke with Attorney General Keith Ellison about the status of threats here, as well as security. Take a look. And joining us right now is the Minnesota Attorney General, Keith Ellison. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on this morning.
Pleased to be with you again, Esme, anytime.
All right. Let me ask you about the status of threats to our Capitol, which is under heavy security this morning. The FBI had us in a report saying because of our history of activities with the Boogaloo Boys, a white supremacist group, we had to be extra careful. Then the governor says on Friday, no credible threat. Where are we? How concerned are you?
The most recent reports we have are that we don't have credible threats that we are aware of. That's good news. I'm very pleased to hear that. At the same time, we should stay vigilant. If you see something, say something. It's certainly fine to go protest peacefully if you want. But the fact is that after what we saw at the nation's capital, what we saw at the Michigan State Capitol before that, what we've seen at the Minnesota State Governor's Mansion and other places like that, has everybody justifiably on heightened alert. But the most recent reports are that we don't have any credible threat that we're looking at as of today, of now.
Without any credible threat, do you think it's still appropriate to have the extraordinary presence you have at the Capitol over this weekend and for the next few days through the inauguration?
Yes, because I think the reason we don't have a credible threat is because we are prepared for any threat that may come. If we let our guard down, maybe the threat assessment would change because of that. So I think that it is credible. It's like saying, you know what, I have my umbrella up and I'm not getting wet. If you take it down, what'll happen then? So if it's raining, of course. Right. So, I mean, the bottom line is it's better safe than sorry. And I think that the governor's made a proper decision to, protect the Capitol this way.
Well, there was the incident just a couple of weeks ago where there was a threat deemed serious enough that they actually went into the governor's residence and removed his son, which I don't recall anything like that ever happening in recent history. How safe are our top leaders, and how safe are the folks, the 10,000 folks that work at the Capitol when there's not COVID?
Well, I think that they're safe for the moment. The fact is, I think they will be safe into the future because as I talk to both federal, state, and local law enforcement partners, they're committed to making sure that everyone is safe. The bottom line is, though, we are in a different kind of territory. We've had people who were doing armed protests at the homes of Minnesota state legislators not more than a few days ago. These folks hold the line, went to Representative Mariani and Rick Hanson's home. That certainly is threatening. And so, the bottom line is we've just gotten ourselves into a new time. And what I ask for, Esme, is yes, law enforcement's going to do what law enforcement needs to do. But I'm asking for people at just a regular community level to say, wait a minute. One, the election was free and fair. No one stole the election from Donald Trump. Number two, using violence to storm and sack the Capitol is unacceptable and cannot stand. Number three, people who question election results when there's no credible argument to do so, that might be legal to do, but it's not right. Okay. And somebody should challenge it.
Let me ask you this. One of the questions that we've gotten a lot here in the newsroom is that some of these protests, the protesters are carrying arms, guns, yes, weapons openly. Minnesota right. is an open carry state, so what they're doing is legal, correct? If they have a permit.
If you have it, but how do we know? I mean, I don't think law enforcement should assume people have permits. I think law enforcement should go up to these people and say, let me see if you have proper authorization to do what you're doing. Some of them may not be. And so that's important as well. Okay. But I will tell you this, we have a First Amendment right to express ourselves. And there's a Second Amendment which says that an individual can have a personal harm. When you combine those two things at the home of a person and you're shouting threatening things at them, that changes both of those rights, which are legitimate independently. When you put them together, it changes how anyone would feel being the target of that, and I think that's common sense. All right. I think we need to ask ourselves something. Are we doing the right thing?
In just 7 weeks, we're going to have the start of the trial of former Officer Derek Chauvin in the murder of George Floyd. You're heading up that prosecution. As we're talking about safety here, are you pretty confident in the security measures, in the safety measures that are being discussed to keep Minnesotans in general safe during that trial and also those involved in the trial?
Yes, I'm confident that everyone will be safe and will be able to conduct the trial in a safe manner. I have raised issues around COVID, and I will continue to raise those. But I will say that in terms of people who have strong feelings about the case, expressing them in an inappropriate way, I think that that will be contained. People will be able to express however they feel about the case, but I think that the safety risk, nothing like we saw in January 6th is going to happen. People are going to be peacefully expressing themselves. And I just want to say this: if you're listening to this broadcast and you plan on protesting, shout. You have your signs, shout your slogans. Leave it right there. We cannot have people breaking property or attacking anyone. It's just not going to be allowed.
Okay, and just a quick shout out, you are still doing a lot of consumer work. You did get back $650,000 for Minnesota high school students and their families who were not able to take a trip to Europe. You were able to get them refunds this week, so I'm sure they are very grateful for that.
Well, I just want to thank the members of the Attorney General's staff. I mean, a lot of times I get to speak for the office because I am the Attorney General, but the hard work is done by those line attorneys who day after day just get out there and fight, and the legal workers as well. So I want to thank them.
All right. Well, Attorney General Keith Ellison, thank you so much for your time. You certainly are in the midst of an awful lot of the stories that are going on in our community right now. Thank you.
Thank you.